We're still gonna let people come in. For those of you who are poets, poet time runs a little different than normal time. But thank you everyone for being here so far, if you're here already. Welcome to the 2021 launch of Flies, Cockroaches and Poets. I feel like I have a limited edition journal right now because I might be one of the only people that has them, but that will change very, very soon. So we'll talk about how to get copies of journals later on in the reading. My name is Mariah Bosch. I'm the current president of CWAA, the outgoing president of CWAA actually, and I'll introduce our new officers at the end of the reading. I will pass the reins to them virtually, but I'm really excited to be here tonight. Even though, I'm here at my house, I feel like I'm here at the reading with all of you. So happy to be here. And I have to admit, this was a hard journal to put out during this year, and I'm really thankful that we did it. And we wouldn't have done it without our incredible contributors, as well as a lot of other people that I want to take the time to thank before we get started. So thank you especially to the English department, the support staff like Jefferson Beavers, who always keeps things extremely organized and streamlined for us. CWAA can be a little ragtag at times, and he helps us keep things very, professional and straight. So thank you to Jefferson always. And also to our department chair and our advisor, Melanie Hernandez, who will help us with anything we need at any time, and who's always extra supportive of CWAA and our endeavors. Thank you to the Instructionally Related Activities Fund for the funding to actually print these journals, and of course to the print shop who does all of that printing for us. We got about 600 books this year, which is awesome, and I hope every single one of those books gets into someone's hands. So it's a really exciting thing to have the support of the institution to make something like this and to make this journal happen every year. This, if you didn't know, is the 30th year of CWAA just existing, but also the 30th year of the journal. So even in a pandemic year, we didn't stop publishing the journal. So it's a pretty incredible feat. I also want to thank Rudy Avelar for designing this beautiful journal for us. If you can see it, it looks so gorgeous. And that is also thanks to the beautiful cover art. The cover art is called Limerence. It's by Sierra Hernandez. It's featured inside of the journal and also just wraps around the whole thing. As soon as I saw this piece of art, I thought we have to have that as the cover. And I'm very thankful that Sierra gave that to us, gave us permission to do that. And last but not least, I want to thank all of my friends and colleagues in CWAA. I am someone who believes I can do everything on my own, and sometimes I have to admit that I can't. And I'm really happy that I had the support and that I felt very held by my peers at this incredibly stressful time. I couldn't have finished my MFA without CWAA, and I certainly couldn't have put a journal together. So I'm very thankful to all of my colleagues and friends, lifelong friends in CWAA who helped me to get this journal out there. The best thing about CWAA is that it's not a club that's like hierarchical by any means. Like, I'm the president, but that just means my name is on things. It doesn't mean that I'm like the organization. It's a collective effort. It's a collective group, and certainly just a bunch of extremely talented artists and writers in our own right. So it means a lot that we get to support the art of people who are in attendance today and people who aren't as well. So yeah, I think that's all of my things. I'm very excited to kick this off. I'm going to put the reading order in the chat. So this is the order of reading. Once I finish my spiel here, Brandy Medina will be our first reader, and we're asking that all of the readers mute and unmute themselves. So everyone else, please keep your microphones muted at all times. We welcome, of course, showing video. It helps to be, at the podium and see faces when you look out onto the screen. So feel free to do that. But we do ask that everyone else keep their audio muted. That way the readers can mute and unmute themselves according to the order in the chat. In the middle, so right after Tony Vang and before Cailyn Smith, we'll have what we call an art break. when we're going to show a slideshow of all the incredible art that's being featured in this year's journal. So we'll show half of it in the middle of the reading, and then the other half at the very end, right after Evelyn's reading. And then after that, I'll talk a little bit more and tell you how to get the journals into your hands and not just mine or in the trunk of my car. So yeah, so we're gonna start with Brandy Medina, and from there, it's gonna be great. So without further ado, Brandy Medina and the rest of our contributors and readers.
Hi, thank you for having me. So the title of my poem is Mama Gaia's Ode to the Valley. You're all dried up and running out of luck. The clouds pass over you and the sun is too bright. What a shame, my little valley, when no one gives a fuck. What you need is mama to nourish you. What you need is a little love from your mama beneath the earth and your mama who sits above. You see, man has disappointed this valley and left it bare, but I will shower you with water and feed your soil. Oh, valley, don't you worry, because Mama Gaia is here. Thank you.
Yeah, but hi, I'm Alondra Adame. I'm a master's student at Chico State, and this is my poem, Familiar Strangers. So I'll just get started. Familiar strangers. There will be no more jaripeos. Dust will no longer dance between sweaty bodies and botellas. The older cousins don't listen to banda anymore, so the little ones don't either. There will be no more carne asadas in the backyard because all the tias no longer speak to each other. No grudges, only empty seats at the next baptism and the quince after that. Okay, I'll start from where I was at. We only see them on Old Face, where they send love through stickers that replace smiles. There will be no more posadas. No one remembers the songs or the prayers. The signs of the cross make the children's hands ache, and we don't like the new priest. Our best memories are still overshadowed by the worst ones. At least we still have the Kodak photos. Las mamás will sigh around the holidays. Que familia. Thank you.
Okay, I believe I am next. Hi everyone, I'm Francisco. I graduated from Fresno State in 2018. I plan to go back for my MFA, which is something I didn't consider. I was gonna do a Spanish major all the way, but at community, I did a poetry class, a nonfiction course, which I'm still doing right now. And MFA seems pretty interesting. Yeah, so to the point, I guess. I printed it out, so sorry if I'm staring to the side. And the title is Man Threw Snail at Car and Street Row. The poem is based on a newspaper headline, I believe from Europe somewhere. And yeah, here we go. Man threw snail at car and street row. Can we forgive without judgment? Do our thoughts flow easily as truth or lie? So often we desire change without enacting it ourselves. Once we held on vibrantly to progressive ideas. Now meandering morals and a stark outlook reign. Today we read the thoughts of others before ours. We compare the fictitious with our day. We expect to live to 100, but retirement won't make do, so we don't. Still, we save our cents for a rainy day, although the forecast predicts a pour. Our belongings are ours so long as we breathe. Sometimes I throw plates knowing well that tomorrow I will buy more. Oh, the pieces I've made. Its shattering sound still haunts. I yelled your name, you didn't hear. I threw a snail, you didn't care. Today you read the newspaper, walk to your car to see it's there. Thank you, everyone.
Hello. Hi, everyone. My name is Yelisa, and I will be reading a poem called So You Think You Know Fresno? And my poem goes like this. Fresno ain't no Narnia. There's no magic here. No transformers to beat back the addiction of the sun. No sea creatures to wash away your struggles. I only know the fruit vendors setting up their tents in La Fulton, selling tamales out of the refurbished space vans. The traffic leaving carbon footprints as I eye my reflection in the Botanica store window. The abandoned warehouses on Ventura nurturing the homeless with their warmth on a cold December night. I know the wealthy gavas turning my childhood into identical housing developments. The bright blue mobile home without insulation or Wi-Fi or air conditioning. The homies posted up on the corner liquor, sipping a 40-ounce on the cracked sidewalk. Their naked fingertips rolling a joint out of fragile rock home papers. I know gangsters wanting to be rappers, the rappers wanting to be gangsters, both lyrical and profound with their mixes that they don't even know they're poets. I know the thousands of crosses who were someone's loved ones pinned to a middle street pole. I know the clean smell of wet dirt when it rains, the grapevine roots held by frozen dirt, pressed down by the foot who works them. I know the hole in your ear pierced by a maguey plant, reclaiming ancestral territory. I know how to be real and modest at the same time, how to never underrate my pen and take pride in all the things I love. This ain't a diss track, nor is this a documentary or game. This is a poetry remix, a rejection of your beautifying projects, of your decorative words that supposedly keep you rooted in the valley. This is the truth that bursts from my throat and lands within an acre of the Sierras that discipline us constantly on how to promote growth in this valley. It's a spiritual enlightening, a critical analysis of brain chemicals and fiber skeletons. It's the flow rushing through my veins when I read a poem. My blood cells silent but observant like a flower on a wall. This is nothing but a no thing. Thank you.
Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Mia Della Cerda, and the name of my piece is Person of Color Does Not Apply. My skin does not match the inside of my soul, this I know. An unfortunate phenotype that has left me mutated, the self that was formed by the hardworking hands of my ancestors like the formation of a white ball of masa. The careful tongue of the ones before me filling my lungs with the language of my people, the language that connects me to my grandparents and allows me to tell them, gracias por todo lo que has hecho por mí. The self that knows the sounds of my people, a muffled scream buried under decades of heartache and suffrage, a sound that groans with prayers, thanks, and confusion, coming together to form the scripture that is etched into my most private soul, my sacred scripture. Torn between two peoples, too white for the brown, yet too brown for the white, rejected by my only two options, not seen by the brown mothers as being one of their babes, part of the rejected litter. Where do I go now? Forever waiting in the waters between white and brown, waiting for the waters to choose a side for me. I try to swim to one side or the other, but the current always pulls me away. The behaviors or traits that make me the other thing call me back, and yet I always end up in the middle again, fighting against the current to find sanctuary on either side, and yet again finding none, not belonging to either, not claimed by either, yet categorized as both. Where do I go now? Thank you.
Hey everyone, so I'm Tony and I'll be going next and I will share screen my poem. There's not much to say about it except there's one I don't like performing too much because it's very exhausting. And I believe poetry is a bit of a discipline. And if you don't practice beforehand, you're going to without a doubt mess up when you actually perform. So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to mess up because I have not practiced diligently like I'm supposed to. And also, I think this was like, it was like a seer from a desert somewhere told me that if I perform this the same way I did the first time, Juan Felipe will shed a single tear that will cause the San Joaquin River to evaporate or something like that. So I'm going to try, hopscotching and see where it goes, because I feel like when you perform, you have a little bit of like, if they wanted to read the poetry, they could read the book. But when you perform, a little ad-libbing keeps you on your toes. Okay, so poems opened A twitch is all it takes to catch the wind with thousand-eyed blind fingers. Feel the maelstrom's breath in the legs, the gale spiraling through gates of bent knees, twisting into wings to leverage into impact, to leverage up and around the shoulders, sharp into kisses of lightning, crackling the bloodstream, hit. With the heart, feel the bloodlust, push, pull, and merge, evaporate into restraint and control, become the river of thunderbolts, curving with narrow bends to waterfall fury. Lines of static dropped into singles, files, silk beats, meteor, water bridge between stars, and their reflection, hit. With the heart, Earth's core gravitates light years onto its eyelids. Lives of galaxy resuscitate in dreaming blinks, dreaming seconds, dreamt breaths, dream stones skipping onto between exchange of night and day. Do not reach the void beyond the end of the cosmos. Hit with the heart, deluge rolling pressure into bursts of ultraviolet rays again, and faster again until shadows blur, faster till knuckles bend, bounce back, light become rainbow blue, carve mountains, root these tsunami peaks to the abyss between joining of bone and blade. Throw position in collections, aim with fingertips, guides of shooting stars down from orbit. Do not move, do not disturb underwater tranquility. Hit. It is enough to see moon phases and sun cycles, to measure truth side by side with dreams, with myths. Stop at the end of the stratosphere, where overlapping eclipses dispels illusions of infinity and teaches where to stop before overreach. Hit with the heart. Pull the umbilical cord linked to the first matriarch, the wingless peacock-colored dragon pulled by her inner fire to swim in the skies, reaching for a domain denied her. Queen of the heavens sees no boundaries, no borders, no faults, flies without wings, flies commanding winds, dances in flight in joy and wonder, breathless, peerless, no longer locked, takes what was not offered to give to kindred spirited descendants. Hit with the heart, taste the juice, the nectar of seeds nourished by mothered, by dirt, by earth, fed rain and ash, fed darkness of clouds, and dying fury of volcanoes. Flames outpouring from lava heart beneath green and blue, skin beneath blue bruises, cools its passion to exhales of ash, brief glitters of exodus of past life, linking to something beginning. Molten seeds to ashes, seeding roots, growing stems, growing branches, bearing fruit, bearing taste of nectar. Hit with the heart, inscribed chants and whispers of buried sorcery and of buried love that draws and delta its inks from heart overflow. Transform each tributary, each strike, each line from personal to magical, to natural, to cosmic, to mythical. Then trace legends to cosmos, to nature, to spirits, to human. Big hit. Overwhelm, misdirect, adapt, stick, pull, push, flank, move between shoulder and an arm's length. Defend. Hit with the heart. A technique for a stabbing kiss to sting and enough restraint to not draw blood. Thank you.
Thank you for that. Tony's poem is our one visual poem in the book, which is really special to have because it's both art and poetry. So now we're going to take an art break. Gracie has a slideshow of the contributors' artwork. So I'm going to turn it over to Gracie and we're going to share some of the artwork in the issue.
For sure, thank you. So I'm just going to go ahead and screen share. We have the artists lined up first, and then every image after them is their art. So here first we have Jefferson Beavers with double exposure. Shadows. And oh, this is supposed to be spinning. And then we have Stephanie Duarte with Frosty Gemini Moon and Small But Mighty. And then we have Esmeralda Gomez with Stained Tablecloths. The Spaces They Left. And On Top of the World. And then next we have Sierra Hernandez, who is the artist that let us borrow for the cover art with Limerence. And then that's it. And we'll show the other half after.
Thank you. It's so special to see those again. So I'm going to put the second half of the lineup in the chat, but we're going to start with Cailyn Smith and go from there.
Hi, I'm Cailyn Smith, and I'm going to be reading my poem, I'm Not Lying. I've written words I didn't mean. I wrote essays about my frustration and anger, and they were all directed towards you. None of my writing was a lie since I felt those things, though I didn't mean them, since I only felt them throughout the brief stage of typing them out, as if I was only able to feel them due to the fact I was exiling them from my body. Only feeling it for the first time as my fingers hit the keyboard, I would give my life to take them back and not have said a word of it. Life doesn't work that way. I'm unable to take back the time I wasted in fury, no matter how hard I try to erase, burn, or delete them. I did have those thoughts. The fact that they have never and will never be heard by another soul, it no longer matters. For even if the words are spoken to none, it does not mean they do not float through the air, perhaps even drift into another's open window. The pure thought that I had brought myself to write these feelings out makes it to where I can't help myself but to keep them alive in my mind. I won't deny that I wish to tell the entire population of my hatred, though I will reject the accusation that I did. I felt these things, and even if I felt them alone, I still regret the emotions I portrayed. I'm begging for forgiveness that I do not dare tell you what, because what if the things I didn't mean or said in frustration made you begin to believe, as I said them, they were truthful statements? I'm not lying when I say I'm sorry, though I might be lying when I say those things that I didn't mean. Thank you.
Hey everyone, my name is Esteban Lopez, and I'm going to be reading my poem, East Side. The sun comes up through the hills, touching the east side first, because it knows we have to get ready for work, while those on the west can rest for a little longer. But when the sun goes down, the east side can't enjoy the sunset. We just see shadows and darkness. They call us the ghetto side, but is it our fault we don't have sidewalks and light posts? Our paths are not lighted like those on the west, and when it rains, it floods. We are left to drown, so we teach ourselves how to swim. No life jackets are handed to us, so we swim out the gutters on our own. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you. My name is Andrea, but you guys can call me Andy. Only people that are mad at me call me Andrea. I'm a first year at the MFA program, emphasis on poetry, and I'm going to read my poem, Ipomia. I see her on every Polaroid, a stranger's pose, girl's eyes sharp online, looking at me through the screen as if knowing what she means to me. I see her on my morning tea, strong, sweetened taste of chamomile, remind me of her tongue, sharp and hot. I see her on my morning commute, with the sky surrounding me, infinite. Her touch will forever be printed on my chest. The darkest part of me sees her at the bottom of my burnt coffee when I can't come out of this house, suffocated. Her turbulent words make my brain sleep, and the memory of her hand guiding me after the ship sank will forever haunt me. I see her on the morning glory, Ipomia, ready to kill, resembling the sister missing, the petals my arms always crave. I saw her alkaloid when she dropped me for a moth, disguised as a hummingbird. I saw her when her poison went down my throat, and I decided it was time to let her go just before my heart stopped. Thank you.
All right, thank you for having me here today. I'm super excited to be part of this journal that's coming out. I have a lot of my poet homies and a lot of poetry people just in general have been from Fresno, so it feels like an honor to be associated now with the CWAA in Fresno. And I have a piece called "Another News Reporter Says Hispanic," and the way it rolls off their tongue, lazily collapsing an array of cultura, a mosaic of maíz into a single word, disgusts me. I try to swallow the word, mojado en salsa desabrida, and it feels like a slug stuck in my esophagus, my body rejecting it. The co-host repeats the word Hispanic in reference to Florida going red. And I want to reach through la tele with my chancla in hand and tell them, I am from California, stolen land, and my politics cannot be simply condensed like una lata de lechera into a word from a mouth from a people that have placed one too many botellas in the flimsy paper grocery bag that is Hispanic. When you look at me, do not think of this word, the shortcut dismissing my ni de aquí, ni de allá identity. Look at me and learn some new goddamn words. Like my parents had to for you, like how I've had to for you. I am Mexican American, Chicano, Latino, Latinx. I am here, alive to stay, and I am just one of many. ¿Entiendes? Thank you all.
Hi, I'm Evelyn Ruvalcaba. I'm a senior at Roosevelt High School, and I wrote this poem for my grandma. And the title goes like this. Memories of Abuelita. I remember staring into her eyes and the outer line around her pupils. The color was almost gray. My abuelita's hands were so soft and so warm. I still see her in my dreams. I remember waking up to the smell of frijoles in the mornings. I would leave my room and meet the smell in the kitchen. She would always feed me and my family. When I was not looking, abuelita would fill my plate again. Tortillas, butter, and frijoles. I did not go hungry when my abuelita was around. It has been 7 years since she passed away. I miss my abuelita. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Evelyn. And it's so special to publish young writers, any writers, but especially young writers. And go Roosevelt, right? So we're gonna do our final slideshow of the rest of the artwork. So Gracie, whenever you're ready, you can take that away.
So yes, again, we have the artist name first, and then we have the art. So Gabriel Lima submitted El East Side. Almonds, oranges, grapes, peaches. And then from Jose Munoz, we have Broken Road, Azteca Warrior, Catch the Rainbow, and Colorful Dancer. And then for Zeta Romero, we have New Yorker, Speak, Blueberry Sunrise, and Caged. So yeah, thank you again to all who submitted for your beautiful art, and especially to Sierra for letting us use your art for our cover.
Thank you so much, Gracie. And yeah, again, thank you to all of our wonderful contributors who read tonight or did not get to read tonight. It's so, I mean, I miss the electricity of a whole room, but I feel like we've achieved it tonight just in hearing each of these readers and getting to go wild in the chat. I mean, when do you get to like shout out like a favorite line during a reading, right? You can do that virtually. But yeah, thank you all. I wanted to make an announcement regarding Malachi Suarez, who is a young 4th grader in Fresno, who is doing something very incredible and all on his own volition. But I put a couple links in the chat because Malachi Suarez is working toward changing his school's name for his community service project through his GATE class. So he goes to school at James K. Polk Elementary in Fresno, that's through Central Unified. And he wants to change the name of the school because James K. Polk was an anti-abolitionist and slave owner. He also used the term manifest destiny to justify war with Mexico. Finally, since the majority of students in Central Unified are students of color, Malachi believes that the school should be named after a person of color. As he puts it, we can achieve great things when we believe they are possible. I really agree with this, and in CWAA, we seek to do the same thing. We want to represent the communities that we are part of, and by publishing, we're able to do that. But by promoting people like Malachi, who are working very hard at a very young age. To do this, we can keep upholding the next generation. So Malachi's project is gaining momentum. Kira Kaiser from the Know Youth Media wrote an article about his project, and he's also gathered over 700 signatures in a change.org petition that you can sign below. And he's been trying to garner community support for an upcoming school board meeting. And he just recently won the Fresno Center for Nonviolence annual Way of Peace Youth Award for the work he is doing to change his school's name. So I just wanted to promote that and encourage you to keep up with what Malachi is doing, whether via the news or through signing his change.org petition. And yeah, a lot of love in the chat for Malachi, so that's well earned. When I was in 4th grade, I didn't really know what I was doing, so it's a great thing that he's doing for all of us in Fresno. And the final thing is that I wanted to announce that the new officers for next year are here in the room tonight. Graciela Moreno is going to be our president, the big enchilada. Aiden Castro, our vice president, and Ceci Hernandez will be our treasurer. So keep an eye out for what they're going to do. I'm extremely excited to see it and to be not a president, but a belligerent audience member next year when I come to all of the readings, and I'm just that CWAA mom or something. So congratulations to them. And thank you all for being here. It's so special, and I'm so excited to get these journals into all of your hands.